When we were writing songs for the Master of Puppets album, James came up with the idea, or was talking to me about the idea of what it would be like if you were in this situation where you were basically like a sort of living consciousness, like a basket case kind of situation where you were, couldn't reach out and communicate with anyone around you. You had, no arms, no legs, couldn't obviously see, hear, or speak or anything like that. And it was just an idea we had that back then, but never really gotten any further on. So when we were writing songs for the Justice album in the fall of '87, the idea came up again, and one day I was talking to Cliff Bernstein, our manager, about the idea, and he suggested that, said that there was a book called Johnny Got His Gun, written by a guy named Dalton Trumbo way back in the, I think actually late 30s, which was about a guy in a similar situation, just sort of played against the background of World War I. Peter Mensch, our other manager, told us, which we actually didn't know, that there was a movie of the same name, Johnny Got His Gun, that was obviously based on the book and that Dalton Trumbo had directed himself. And he got a version of it. It was actually quite hard to track down, but he got a version of it, brought it over to us in England, and we watched it. And I think it became pretty apparent, sort of with Peter being there and the whole band and so forth, that there was an idea brewing somewhere that could be used for something very, very different and very or very different than what other metal bands had been doing with their videos. And we basically looked into it, and we got the rights to the movie and so forth, and the idea was born back in September then of last year to basically try and do our first promotional video with us playing the song and using footage from this movie somehow, and then try and really make it work like that over the next few months and see how far we could take it. If people don't know, it's a movie from 1971 that came out that Dalton Trumbo, who wrote the book, directed himself. It stars Jason Robards as the dad, and Timothy Bottoms obviously as the guy himself. I'm actually not sure if he's Johnny. I haven't figured that one out. He doesn't really have a name obviously in the song or anything, but we presume that he's Johnny himself. So that's Timothy Bottoms, and it was not really, from what I understand, a big over-the-board smash hit when it came out. It was one of these movies that I think kind of came and went by itself, and has enjoyed, a very strong cult following since then. But it wasn't even very easy to find on videotape now. We wanted it to be as subdued as possible, and obviously avoid the over, us on stage, 5,000 lights and kids and ramps and all that crap. So we basically wanted to show us playing the song in almost like a sort of rehearsal kind of jamming situation, just playing to each other like we do when we rehearse and so forth, and wanted it very, very low lit, very sort of just mellow kind of thing. We shot all the band footage in this warehouse in downtown LA, which was a thing that took all day. These monitors were just blasting, just because, we're all obviously playing as hard and heavy as we can. I'm hitting the drums as hard as I can and so forth, and, hello, that's the phone ringing here.
Hello.
Yeah, bye.
It's not here. I'm sorry. Call back in 10 minutes.
This is the kind of stuff that happens when you shoot in a hotel room. But
Tell the operators not to let anyone call it. It's over.
okay. No one panic. We can leave that in. We can leave that in. Fine. This is casual. There's the what we call the original main version, which is the full song, obviously without edits or anything, the way it was written and recorded, which we obviously think is the main great version, and the one that obviously brings the song across the best way, and also obviously the story and everything that goes on with the footage and the dialogue. Then we did a version of it, which we made an edit of the song, brought the song, cut about 2 minutes out of the song, and made a slightly shorter version of the song for if there were certain radio stations that when we play the shorter version or whatever. And we made a version of the video with that tune. To be totally honest with you, neither me nor any of the other guys in the band really think much of that short version, mainly because I don't think that the storyline really comes across as well in the 5.5 minute short version as it does in the long proper version. But what we came up with an idea then a couple of weeks ago was to, we just thought that it's great, the idea with bringing the whole movie in and so forth, but also it just might get kind of old after a while and so forth, and we just wanted to see what else we could do with it. So Cliff Bernstein came up with the idea of what would it be like to have a version of us actually just playing the song and really sort of leaving the story and all that stuff just to in the original long version. And we talked to Michael Solomon to ask him if he could edit a version together of us just playing the song, just kind of jamming on it. We call it the just jamming version. Probably 99% of the kids out there know that this was done our way, and the reason that we had waited so long to do it was that we just didn't feel yet that, you know, it was right, and this time around it just felt like it was right and it was the right idea. The only vibe we had when we were making the video was that we had an agreement with the record company, which was that if we didn't like the video when it was done, we would throw it away and it actually wouldn't be used for anything, because we were just approaching it, I think, quite cautiously, just wanting to make sure that it was done our way. And obviously, since we'd never tried this kind of thing before, we really didn't know what the hell to expect. Whether people out there like it or not, that's really, I think, completely secondary, because we just know that we've made something that's very, very unique and different.